Welcome to Real Swell. Let's talk about some movies. Like, comment, subscribe. I hope you enjoy the show. These aliens were here. We know why they were here, and it was 80 years ago. Well, the director of the Department of Homeland, what it means for these athletes to say, no, that's the expectation. I'm going to meet it, whatever the cost. Wicked for Good, sequel and conclusion to Wicked. It's pretty good. Does a lot of good things. I like the singing, I like the acting, and I like how we were given the creation of the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, and Scarecrow. Although I'm pretty sure Scarecrow's not supposed to have a brain. I'm not sure if the movie actually does that. But the journey to the Wicked Witch concludes as well. We finally get the full realization of her being wicked. Now, the both movies kind of tell the tale of this quote unquote wickedness as being defined by others and then projected upon someone else. So while she does fulfill that role for the movie's purpose, it's also the movie's purpose to let you know that wickedness, although it may seem true, doesn't have to be depending on the perspective. So I really like how that message comes across. There was, however, less singing, I feel, in this one. It also felt like there was less happening in this one. In between things that were happening, this is going to sound obvious, but nothing was happening, or that's what it felt like, at least. In between where we were getting exposition, we were getting dialogue, we were getting the singing, it didn't feel like the story was progressing even through the visuals. And again, it felt like less was happening, felt like less character development, it felt like less movement within the story. But where we did get character development, where we did see that story continue, it all felt and was entertaining. I really like how they incorporated Oz into Elphaba's story. There was one thing regarding Glinda that didn't really make any sense. It felt like the movie tried to garner sympathy for her in certain parts of the movie for the results of her actions, but I didn't necessarily feel sympathy for her. She got Nessa killed. I'm not gonna feel sorry for her that it was unintentional, quote unquote, because had she not even brought it up, it possibly would not have ever happened. So they wanted us to feel bad because she felt bad for causing this. But no, I'm not going to feel bad about that. I think I like the first one better. And again, it's because it felt like less was happening. It felt like there was less singing. I was more entertained. I was more involved. I was more invested in the story when it was being told through the music. There was a lot of dialogue, spoken dialogue in this movie. It felt like it was more than there was in the first movie. And that was one issue that I had actually with the first movie, and that it didn't feel like there was enough singing. And I wanted to be able to enjoy and experience the singers, their ability to deliver that dialogue, deliver that exposition, to be able to deliver that emotion through song. And it was even less of that in this movie. Now, I will say there are some shots in this movie that are spectacular. There are some shots in this movie where it kind of breaks the fourth wall, and it didn't feel like I was looking at a movie theater screen. It felt like that person was in front of me. Um, and it was only for a few shots in the movie. And it was almost as if they were using different cameras. They took the filter off, the lighting was different, and you were very up close to that particular performer. And it felt real. It felt more like I was actually in a theater and not a movie theater. But overall, I did like the movie. I will say that the best song is No Good Deed. But I will say Because I Knew You is second. And it almost got me. It almost brought a tear. But I held it back. Don't worry. Um, the Scarecrow's story and how he became Scarecrow was interesting. But again, the end, I wish they would have realized that him not having a brain. And what I mean by that is, I wish they would have made it happen, that maybe his memory gets erased and there is no happily ever after. I think that would have fit better with the theme of the story that they were going toward, and that is you can try to do everything right, you can try to be good, but sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes the universe just doesn't let you be good. You can't have what you deserve, even though you've done nothing to not deserve it. So I wish there was a sacrifice in there that kind of drove that story or that theme home. I will also say the final reveal that Elphaba wasn't dead could have been left out because we already knew that she was setting that up. She puts the bucket of water on the floor. We already knew what she was planning. We didn't have to see it. I wish they would have just left that out and let the emotion of her being gone, even if we could assume that it wasn't real, there was that possibility that it could be. And even though the characters in the movie all understood that she was gone, I feel like us as audience members could have shared in that as well. But at the same time, it could be kind of cheeky because we were there watching her set up this trick, this illusion. And we kind of know in the back of our minds that, oh, okay, yeah, she's probably not dead, but let's just live in that moment and let it be that she is gone. The happily ever after, again, I don't think we needed. I think the story would have been more powerful if there wasn't one for Elphaba, because that's kind of the point I felt of both of these movies. Again, it's you don't get to have what you want if this is what's being projected on you. In order for the world to continue spinning, you have to live up to what is being projected upon you. And that means sacrificing some things, sacrificing your happiness so that the rest of the world doesn't turn into chaos. Jeff Goldblum is a national treasure. Let's just say that. But he had too much singing in this movie. There were some songs, some notes that he could hit. There were some measures that he did fine with, but some of it was just, it went on too long. And not that it was bad, but you could tell he was uncomfortable with it. And again, he was hilarious in both of these movies. He made me laugh a couple of times, but they gave him too much singing in this movie, or at least not enough coaching, either of the two. And I also need to say, I didn't know what Ariana Grande looked like. I didn't know that was her, even when I watched the first movie. To my defense, though, I've only seen that movie once, and it was a couple of months ago. So I didn't even know she was in it, her name. I didn't even know she was attached to either of these movies. But when I saw it and I saw the Glinda, I had no idea that was Ariana Grande. I learned that today at work. Someone told me that that's who that was. But both of them did very well again with the acting and with the singing. And the movie is good. The story does conclude the way that it was set up to conclude, but I do again believe that I liked the first one better.